Alright, Christians. I'm being bombarded by Christians everywhere, all over the internet. Vaughn, you need to come back to Christianity. That's your problem. You need to come back to Christianity. You need to come back to Christianity. Look, guys, I appreciate the sentiment. I do. I really, really do. I appreciate the sentiment, but there's a problem with that. The problem is that Jehovah was the one that put me in this predicament. Jehovah was the one that put me in crippling debt so that I couldn't even go out and get a job, and ended up getting my paycheck. When I got my paycheck, it would only say $2 and some change on there. Okay, because all my paycheck was going to pay outstanding debt. Alright, so I couldn't work, so I had to get self-employed and work under the table, if you will, or try odd jobs or whatever in order to survive. Because if I tried to get a normal job, my paychecks would get taken from me. You can't survive, guys, on a $2 paycheck every week. Okay, you can't. I don't give a damn how good at math you are. A $2 paycheck per week, you can't survive on that. Okay, you just fucking can't. And it was Jehovah that put me into that position in the first place. And the bitch of it is that I didn't even have anything to do with it. In fact, I did everything I could to try and solve the problem. But Jehovah God saw fit to let me get into crippling debt. I mean, you have no idea. You have no idea. If I was to quote you the amount of debt I'm in, it would blow your fucking mind. Alright? Jehovah allowed that to happen. Now, you have to admit it. Jehovah allowed that to happen. He could have prevented that from happening at any time. He did not. He allowed it to happen. Then, even despite that crippling debt that he put me in, I still worshipped him. I still worshiped Jehovah. I would sit there in front of TBN, wait on the Lord, James, wait on the Lord, wait on the Lord, wait on the Lord. And I'm sitting there waiting on the Lord, waiting on the Lord. Waiting on the Lord for what? Waiting on the Lord for a wife and a family. I wanted a wife and family. I'd been divorced. I had lost my wife. My children had died. I was demoralized. I wanted a wife and family. And so I sat in front of the Christian channel, Trinity Broadcasting Network, TBN for short. I sat there waiting on the Lord, waiting on the Lord. Well, days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Months turned into years. And 25 years later, I said, this shit is not working. This shit is not fucking working. So I got off my lazy ass, rejected Jehovah. Now, I kept Jesus because, Jesus' teachings pretty much seemed to be okay. But I rejected Jehovah outright and said, to hell with this, I'm going to go find my own goddamn wife. Went on the singles net, bam, found Andrea almost immediately in a chat session. Okay, we got to talking, we found we had a lot in common, we found that we were both conservatives and etc., and hit it off real well. And, everything was awesome. Me and Andrea were awesome until this stupid troll shit and CPS shit started. That's when everything went to shit. That's when Andrea started developing her anger issues. Andrea didn't have anger issues before the trolls and CPS. She didn't. I know. I was with her. She did not have anger issues before that. The anger issues were a result of CPS and the trolls. Now, anyway, moving along. Alright, Jehovah allowed these trolls on the internet and CPS and all this other gobbledygook to negatively influence my wife and coerce her into leaving me, ultimately. Jehovah could have stopped that, could he not? I mean, he's all-powerful, yes? Okay, so Jehovah could have stopped that. He didn't. Okay, so for my years, no, scratch that, for my centuries of loyalty to Jehovah, what did I get? I'm now hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. I cannot get a job because if I do, they'll take my fucking paycheck away from me. Not to mention my tax returns. Not to mention everything else. And then the bitch of it is they don't take the money and actually try to pay off the debt. No. They take the money and they put it on interest. And then next month, the interest is right back again, so they got to put more money on the interest. Okay, so the debt never gets actually paid off. You follow me? Okay, so anyway, I digress. The point is that I had to become self-employed And I had to start working odd jobs behind the scenes because that was the only way I could get any damn money. Alright. Now, Jehovah allowed this shit to happen to me. Despite the fact that I would faithfully served him, and despite the fact that I allegedly had received a promise from him. The promise goes like this: you have a great and glorious future that'll benefit all of mankind. Well, excuse me, Jehovah, but I'm not seeing it, dude. I am hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. My wife is now gone. My previous wife is gone. My previous children are dead. I still thankfully have these children, but who knows what the hell's going to happen on the 26th. The judge might get a wild hair up his ass and give my kids to foster care. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on. And judging by the way things are going, it might actually pan out to be that way. Andrea and me, neither one might not get the kids. I don't fucking know what's going to happen. But I tell you this much. If I do lose my kids on the 26th to either Andrea or the foster care, there'll be a cold day in hell before I would even consider Jehovah ever again. You can bet on that. Because I've already lost my 2 children from my first marriage. I can't afford to lose any more children, okay? I'm trying to build my children up. I'm trying to build up the number of children. Now, speaking of kids, I did want to bring this one up. You know, Andrea expressed to me that she wanted to have 6 children, but yet she told my mother the day she left that I was forcing her to have these children and that she didn't want to have any more children. So it seems, you know, there seems to be some miscommunication there somewhere, folks. Okay, but anyway, I digress. The point is this: it was Jehovah that put me into this mess, despite the fact that I faithfully served him and was loyal to him. I mean, loyal to a fault almost. I was loyal to Jehovah. There was no one more loyal than me. And yes, it was a personal relationship, not just religion. Okay. You know, it was a personal relationship. But, you know, but I'm sorry, Christians. I'm sorry. Until I hear that phone ring and it's my wife saying that she's canceled that dumbass EPO and wants to come back home, you're not going to get me to go back to Jehovah. Ever. Is that clear? Now you say, oh, well, you can't tempt God. That's not tempting God. That's not tempting God at all. In fact, God says, test me now herewith and see if I am not the Lord thy God. Okay, so God himself in the Bible says I can test his ass. Alright, so quit it with the crap. Okay, and besides, a relationship is supposed to be a two-way street. My relationship with God is also supposed to be a two-way street. Okay, so if I ask God to do a menial task, which is basically have my wife to cancel a document and call me, I mean, how hard can that be for the Lord of Hosts to do, folks? Hello? It shouldn't be hard for God to do, right? Okay, cancel the EPO and call me. I will go to the courthouse. I will pick up her shit, throw it in the car. Me and her will walk into the courthouse, cancel the divorce, and we could go back home as if nothing had fucking happened. But the problem is that Jehovah allowed this shit to happen. Jehovah allowed these motherfuckers on YouTube to brainwash my wife. Jehovah allowed John Chacon to fill my wife's head full of shit like Von Helton hates you and Von Helton wants to kill you. And you need to go file an EPO against him. You know, Jehovah allowed that shit to happen. Okay? This was not the devil that did this shit. No. Jehovah allowed it to happen. Okay? We like to put things off on the devil a little too much too. I don't think the devil had a damn thing to do with this. I think it was the fact that Jehovah allowed it to happen, very similar to the story of Job, like I alluded to in a previous video. But anyway, irregardless of whose fault it is, how it got started, whatever took place, the point is that Jehovah did not allow this shit to happen to me, particularly in light of the fact that he gave me that promise. You have a great and glorious future that'll benefit all of mankind. Oh, really? I'm hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. My first wife is gone. My 2 children are dead. My second wife is now gone. Great and glorious future, my happy ass. Where is it? I want to see it. Okay? I'm from the show me state, okay? You got to show me this shit. Okay? So no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Christians. I cannot go back to Jehovah until that goddamn phone back there rings. And if it doesn't ring before the 26th, it'll be a cold day in hell before I'll tell anybody that they need to go be with Jehovah. Is that clear? I hope that's clear as mud for you. Now, like I said, I don't mean to be disrespectful. I really don't. But you guys do not know my situation. You have never known my situation. You have no idea what it's like to go and bust your ass for a whole month working in a hard assembly line job, only to get your goddamn paycheck at the end of 2 weeks and find out that there's only $2.50 on it. Okay? You can't fathom that. But I can, because I lived through it. Busting my ass in an assembly line job and never got nothing to show for it. Nothing. Nothing. Okay? So now you can't possibly understand my situation, but hopefully you do now at least a little bit, okay? But this bullshit that Von Helton is some kind of slacker that mooches off the government and shit. No. No, I've never been that way. Ever. The first thing I did when I got here to Kentucky was go down and get me a job at Anvil. That was the first thing I did when I moved down here. Of course, this, the bills and all this other shit, this debt caught up with me and found out where I was working and literally stole my paychecks. Literally. Except for $2.50. Alright? So I'm sorry. But, there's got to be some changes made. I've got to be able to see some changes before I recommit myself. Because I've committed myself to things before, and I ended up getting burnt as a result. Right? Okay, so no. Excuse me. So no, that's not the way we're going to play this no more. Homie, don't play that no more. Okay? If Jehovah really wants me to return to him, then he will have that phone back there ring before the 26th gets here. Because otherwise, I'm staying a pagan, bro. Sorry about your luck. Alright? I hope this clears it all up. Because I've gotten deluged by Christians. You need to come back to being a Christian again, Vaughn. You need to come back, No. Hell no. As Metallica has now famously said, why would I follow a God that failed? A God that failed me financially. A God that failed me personally. A God that allowed 2 marriages now to be destroyed and didn't do jack shit to try and stop it. Why in the hell would I serve a God that would allow me, that made me wait 25 years to get my second marriage, only to let it be taken from me? Are you mental? You guys need to fucking become pagans like me. And at least you can experience a little bit of spiritual freedom. You're not chained down to a God that makes you do shit that you don't want to do. And like I said, man, I'm not knocking y'all. I'm not trying to be offensive here. But you don't know my situation. Alright, you just don't. But now I'm telling you the truth. Andrea had no anger issues until all this CPS bullshit and troll bullshit got started. She had no anger issues. Of course, once all that shit started happening, she had major issues. Fucking slamming all the doors and breaking the doors when she slammed them shut. She would slam them so hard they would actually get stuck. And I would have to unstick the door and bend out the hinges just to get it to work right. Crazy, man. Crazy. But she wasn't like that before CPS. She wasn't like that. CPS and the trolls. She wasn't like that at all, man. I'm telling you, when she first come up here, and before the trolls and the haters and CPS, it was like fucking Camelot, man. It was. It was like fucking Camelot. Everything was awesome. But everything happens for a reason. I do believe that. But I'm actually quite hesitant to put this at the feet of the devil or Satan or whatever, because Jehovah had the power to stop this shit. Particularly in light that I lost my first marriage and lost my first 2 children. I mean, it seems like Jehovah would have done his level best to protect my family and keep us intact. Not let a bunch of assholes on YouTube convince her and lure her away from her husband and her children. That's nuts. So no, I'm sorry. I could never follow the Jehovah God. Now, if that phone back there rings, and it's her saying that she's canceled the EPO, and she's at the courthouse with her shit, mind you, not just by herself, but with her shit, then I will go to the courthouse. I will put her shit in my car. We will walk into that courthouse together. I will cancel the divorce proceedings. Bam, immediately. And we will get in my car and go the fuck home as if nothing had ever happened. That is what it will take for me to go back to Jehovah. Are we all clear on this shit? I hope so. And for the record, there's some Christians out there that for some strange reason believe that I'm some sort of neophyte when it comes to the Bible. Yeah, let's see. I have over 35 years of religious study on my belt. Now, admittedly, that was freelance study, but it doesn't fucking matter now, does it? Study is study. I literally got off my ass, went to a library, and started pulling books off the shelf and studying. Okay? I have been approached by the Catholics. I have been approached by the Protestants. I have been approached by everybody in between, wanting me to go to seminary, wanting me to go to, what's the Catholic version? Damn, I forget. Anyway, I mean, I've still got my damn rosary from that the Catholics gave me. I've still got the damn thing. Where the hell did I put it? Okay, well, it's in this drawer somewhere. Anyway, point is, I've still got my shit that the Catholics gave me. I still got my shit that the Protestants give me. You know, wanting me to go to seminary, wanting me to you know, I mean, hell, if I would have went the Catholic route, I'd probably be a bishop right about now. You know, I probably would. You know, that's no bullshit. But the thing of it is that that's not the path I wanted to go. Sorry, it's not the path I wanted to go, man. I can't serve a God that is going to put me hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt and destroy my marriages. This is 2 marriages he's let it be destroyed now, guys. Okay, 2. All right, I can't let him destroy a 3rd. Okay, no. Okay, I'm done with Jehovah. All right, because if he destroyed a 3rd marriage, that would devastate me. It would, for real. Okay, so I can't let that happen. I'm sorry. You know, now, like I said, I don't mean to be offensive in this video. If you're offended by what I've just said, tough titty said to kitty, because it wasn't my intention. Alright? If you're offended by what I said, then you're the one that needs to check yourself, okay? Because I'm not doing this to be offensive in any way. I'm telling you straight. I'm telling you facts. Okay? And if you can't handle it, not my fault, right? Alright, anyway, that's all I want to do, because, I mean, you know, I got Pastor Phil Begley, I got Pastor Dave, I got all these other Christians, Keith Truth, and all these other Christians bombarding me. You need to come back to Jehovah. No, I don't. No, I don't. Now, if on the off chance that phone rings, okay, let's do this right here, right now. All right, let's do this right here, right now. I beseech thee, Jehovah God, allegedly the one true God, if thou art the one true God, let that phone back there ring. Let my wife be on it. Let her tell me to my face that she has canceled the EPO and that she has her shit with her at the courthouse and that she's ready to come the fuck back home. Now, if that happens, Jehovah God, I am publicly stating that you will have me as a servant for all eternity. There. Is that fair? Now, is there anybody that says that can't be fair? All right. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely fair. Okay. So now, if the phone rings before the 26th, I will let you all know. But you know what? My wife has been brainwashed so fucking bad. She actually believes I want to kill her, guys. Did you listen to that Dear Andrea video? The Andrea tapes now, the infamous Andrea tapes? She actually believes I want to kill her. She actually believes I hate her and I want to kill her. I feared for my life. That's what she said in the Andrea tapes. Okay? And she probably said worse shit than that, but the goddamn motherfuckers won't release all 2.5 hours of the tape. Because they're a bunch of cowards, they're a bunch of pussies, and they won't release the whole 2.5 hours of Andrea. Why not, motherfuckers? If it's so damning to me, why won't you release it? I'll tell you why. Because you're scared. Because you're a bunch of pussies. But anyway, I digress. Point is, Christians, if that phone rings, I will come back to Jehovah. If the phone does not ring, no way in fucking hell. If it comes up on the 26th and she hasn't called to cancel this shit, then I'm sorry. But I will be a pagan for life. For life, man. Alright? We are at a crossroads right here, right now, that in the time of this hearing. If that phone rings, I belong to Jehovah for all eternity. If that phone does not ring and the 26th gets here, I will be pagan forever. So now, the God that you serve now has a choice, doesn't he? Okay? He can choose to make me be his servant if he wants. All he's got to do is make that phone ring. Okay? And if he's an all-powerful, all-loving God, why wouldn't he want my wife to come back to me? Why wouldn't he? Right? I mean, if he really is love, if Jehovah God really is love, then he could put the love back in the heart of my wife. Now, couldn't he? Well, yeah. Okay, so now we're going to see. We will see, folks. I mean, now you say, well, Vaughn, this sounds like you're tempting God. Careful, because I'll remind you that in the Bible, the apostle of God did the same damn thing. In fact, the apostle of God in the Old Testament said, okay, y'all, I'm going to take a bucket of water and I'm going to put a bucket of water over my sacrifice. Anybody remember that story? There was a sacrifice that you had the prophet of God, and then you had the 3,000 members of Baal, and they each had a sacrifice. And the agreement was that whoever sacrifice got consumed by a flaming fire would be the one true God. And so the Baal worshippers were worshiping and they were praying and they were dancing around their sacrifice. And the prophet of God poured gallons and gallons and gallons of water on his sacrifice. And it ended up that his sacrifice was consumed by fire and their sacrifice was not. Anybody remember that story in the Old Testament? Okay, I'm doing the exact same damn thing here right now. The exact same damn thing right now. Okay, so all Jehovah God has to do, make the phone ring. That's it. That's all he's got to do. It's a piece of cake for an all-knowing God, right? And if he does, I'm a Christian for the rest of my life. Just that quick, just that easy, just that simple. All Jehovah has to do, all Jehovah has to do is get my sacrifice to be consumed. Consume my sacrifice. Make that phone ring. Make it be my wife on the other end, saying that she has a forgiving heart and that she wants to come home and that she has her shit and she's at the courthouse waiting on me. Then I will go up to the courthouse. I will load her shit in my car first. I'm not stupid. I'll load her shit in my car first. Then we go in together to the courthouse office. We cancel the divorce. And then we go home together as a couple as if nothing had ever happened. Alright? That's how we're going to play this, Christians. So now, if you truly believe that your God is the one true God, you better be getting him to ring that phone. Because otherwise, I'm going to make it public knowledge that he could not make my phone ring. Guaranteed. Bet on it. It'll happen. Okay? It'll happen. Alright? But anyway, that's it. I probably yacked on for far too long here. This was supposed to have been a short video. But that's it. I'm done. Y'all have a pleasant day. Y'all have a pleasant day and a better tomorrow. See ya.